Council. Call to order the regular meeting of the City Council this Monday, November 13, 2023. To watch this on live telecast, you can go on youtube.com at Daly City Video Meetings, or you can go on the web at www.dalycity.org/agendas. There are three ways to submit public comment. You can submit written comments by the meeting day, or submit written comments during the meeting, and obviously the third way is to attend the meeting in person. Will you all please rise and say the pledge with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please? What happened to our flag?
There's still a flag.
What is this one?
What happened to the flag?
It wasn't returned to the room. Apologies.
Okay, no problem. Madam Clerk.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Present.
Dr. Rod,
Here.
Ms. Manalo,
Present.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, present.
Mr. Buenaventura.
I'm present. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's go on to our presentations. Item number 1 is a presentation from the Boys and Girls Club of the Peninsula. Presenting is the Chief Executive Officer, Jennifer Obia. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Is this thing's on? Okay. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council members. My name is Jenny Obiaya. I'm the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Peninsula. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm also joined by my wonderful colleague, Cynthia, who is the site director of our Bayshore Boys and Girls Club school site. I'm here today just to tell you a little bit more about the work that we're doing at BGCP here in the Daly City community. So our vision is that all young people should grow up to lead fulfilling lives that are really fueled by their passions and their talents and a love of learning. We know that talent is equally distributed across our communities, but that opportunity is not. And so our work is about closing the opportunity gap by providing equitable access to amazing opportunities that are going to help our young people, who are the future of Daly City and beyond, access to opportunities that are going to help them thrive in school and beyond. And we've got, you can see a student here at Bayshore Elementary engaging in some of her Power Hour academic block, which I'll talk a bit more about. So there are three main ways that we work to close the opportunity gap. And so I'll talk a bit about the programs that we provide. All of them are completely free. The first is around academics. We believe that at the end of the day, privilege comes down to having choices in life, and having a really solid education really helps empower our young people with as many choices as possible. And so we partner really closely with our schools to help extend the school day and build on the learning that they're getting during the school day. We do tutoring, daily tutoring, literacy programs. We have a really robust college access and readiness program. But academics is a big pillar of our programming. The second is enrichment. So I've got 8-year-old twin boys, and I am constantly blown away by how expensive it is to raise kids, especially in our neck of the woods. And oftentimes enrichment opportunities are considered to be nice to haves, but we believe the exact opposite. These are not nice to haves. These are essential elements of childhood where kids really discover their passions and cultivate their talents. And we believe that no child should have to be turned away from activities that they're interested in, whether it's competitive sports leagues or folklorico dance or culinary classes or STEM clubs, because they don't have the money to access it. And so we provide all of those things completely for free. And then the last one, the last big pillar of our programming is around mental health. Of course, the pandemic in particular really shined a harsh spotlight on the mental health needs and challenges that our young people face. And it can be incredibly difficult to access a provider. There are such long wait lists, even if you did have insurance or means to pay for $300 an hour therapy sessions. And so we've built out a team of talented clinicians in-house led by our Director of Mental Health Services, Daniela Velasquez. And our 9 clinicians serve our students through individual one-to-one therapy, through group therapy, and we also offer family support services. We're considered an expanded learning provider because we do extend the school day and the school year through our after-school and summer programs. We offer full-day summer programs, and our BGCP students, Boys and Girls Clubs of the Peninsula students, have access to up to 830 additional learning hours over the traditional school year alone. I'm an educator by background. I was a teacher and an elementary school principal, and so it's incredibly important to me and to our entire team that we are optimizing every single minute of every single one of these hours as a learning opportunity for our young people to really help them unleash their full potential. This is a map of students that we serve in the county. So historically, we had been operating in the southern part of the county, serving students in East Palo Alto, North Fair Oaks community of Redwood City, and Eastern Menlo Park. But last year, we actually expanded to the mid and northern part of the county. And after speaking with community leaders, with superintendents, including folks like Tony Presta, who's just been such an incredible partner, we realized the extent of the unmet need in the northern part of the county. And of course, we understand that students here are just as deserving. And so we expanded north to San Mateo Foster City, to South San Francisco, and here to beautiful Daly City. And on the next slide, we'll zoom in and you can see who we're currently serving in Daly City. We've got elementary sites, elementary and middle school sites at Bayshore, Susan B. Anthony, and TR Policita. And then we also offer our Future Grads College Access and Readiness Program, which is geared towards first-generation college-bound students at Jefferson and Westmore. And our vision is that we'd like to continue to grow here to meet whatever demand there is. We want any student who has the desire to access our programs to be able to do so. I did want to shine a spotlight on the Future Grads program. Last year, we had over 600 students in the program, and this is a program where we start working with students the summer before their sophomore year of high school, and we stick with them to college, through college, and also support with career placement. One data point that I'm particularly proud of is that 95% of students in Future Grads complete their first year of college and begin their second year of college, of course, on their way to graduation. The national average, not just for first-gen students, but for all students, is 74%. So I think that's really indicative of the impact that our support has on our students. Last year, this past summer, was our first year having a kickoff program here in the northern part of the county, and we had 156 rising sophomore students join us at Skyline College for our official kickoff. And since then, we've had many more join us to take advantage of our programming. And we offer programs during the day on the high school campuses, but also after school and on the weekends as well. I mentioned that Tony's been such a great partner. She actually arranged for transportation to get students to this program so they could have access to this. Right now we have over 1,000 students in our Future Grads program who will, in a few years, be college graduates. And I wanted to just close tonight by thanking you all for your partnership. We're sort of all in this together, wanting a bright future for our young people. And so I really want to invite you to come visit one of our sites if you haven't already. Not only is it a real treat for our students and staff to see their community leaders there at their program, but I also think you'll leave completely energized and inspired because the students we serve, they're going places. So that's all from me, unless there are any questions.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have some questions, and I want to thank you for coming and engaging with us and having this presentation. It was very informative. It really is inspirational to hear. Let me start with our professor, Professor Rod. Go ahead.
Thank you for coming through, Maggie.
Oh, sorry, I'm actually Jenny. Maggie's our
my bad.
director
Jenny,
of government.
sorry
She
about
was
that.
going to come, but
So sorry,
I'm filling
my
in.
bad,
No
my bad.
worries.
I think what an extraordinary program that serves Daly City and, really provides equity for basically all our students. I actually saw a lot of these students when I was at Skyline for that event. And I was like, where are these people coming from? But my question is how do you fulfill like culturally relevant, responsive education for these students, knowing that they're coming from different diverse backgrounds?
Yeah, that's something that's incredibly important to us because this is a new community for us at BGCP. And so I actually think that's a testament to our site directors that are actually on the ground with our students and with our families. And so it's really about building those relationships that then inform our approach in the classroom and in our programs. But we're always open to feedback also.
Great. And that's my favorite word when it comes to education is relationships. I think that's like the number one thing that educators across the board forget.
That's right. That's incredibly important.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Madam Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. From your presentation, I really love the educational aspect of it and really where the Boys and Girls Club is really diving into mental health support, most especially after what we've seen after the pandemic. But really, continuity-wise, having mental health support is so important and to normalize it. And I think with the Boys and Girls Club having access to, mental health clinicians, it just is, you're also supporting that where it's normalized and not, and it's just, part of the programming, right? I really see that you've expanded in the Daly City area. I think that's tremendous. I look forward. I've been to the Bayshore site, but I haven't been to other sites that you have had in Daly City or your expansion. But I think it's really great that Daly City has you up here in the North County.
Thank you so much.
The youth are our leaders in the future, but they're also our leaders today. And so, cultivating that and having a safe space for them, especially through after-school programming and having opportunities during the summer is huge. So we look forward to seeing many more, and I'd probably like to visit another site besides the Bayshore. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I should point out that we didn't just expand last year. I know I said expansion. We actually merged with 2 chapters of Boys and Girls Clubs north of us. So the Mid-Peninsula Boys and Girls Club had been operating in parts of Daly City, but they asked us to sort of join forces with them and just basically inject more resources into the programs here. So that's what we've been doing. So if you've visited Bayshore in the past, but maybe not for a while, come back again because under Cynthia's leadership, the programs have really grown tremendously.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Mr. Joy.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to say I remember her when I went to go read to the children.
Oh, yeah.
Remember in the hallways? And, I was with Teresa Fapulo School Board and her son, who was inspiring everyone with his disability or challenging. And it was great to see the activities. She was telling me how it was great feedback as well, because I knew that, like you said, you guys had merged. So it's a little kind of like revamping maybe, and that there is a different type of leadership. I noticed that there was a strong emphasis on focusing, and I know that individually with the schools, the other feedback that they've been giving me, which I might as well tell you now, that they told me that you fit the individual schools, which is good. You come in and you assess what they think they need, right? And I thought that that was perfect. Not come in with a cookie cutter program and say, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to color, or we're going to do this. This book is what we're going to read. And I found it pretty inspiring by reading and then interchanging in the hallways, going to the next class and seeing how happy the children were, because you could see the difference rather than being dragged to a program. And of course, some don't like it until they get there, but they were really engaged at the Bay Shore. And I think the other one, well, I haven't been to the Policita, but the other one as well.
Susan B.
And then
Anthony
it was great that Tony Presta, I know she had sent out a couple of posts in support and the transitioning and the connection to make sure that the seniors are able to work together with the Skyline, which I'm sure Dr. Rod is aware of, so that they can improve themselves and give them academics or trades or whatever. And you guys are there for the emotional support as well, because things are still tough. And the sensitivity, I noticed there was a lot of sensitivity, and I like that. So, personally. So I'm just telling you that was positive, and I could see that it was like a revamp or something when you guys came in, because I wasn't familiar as much with the Peninsula one. And then I see that how you take a charge and then just made sure that the needs are met. So I like that. And that you meet them where they are, and you're there to try to make them improve and feel comfortable with the relationships that you've already built. So it's great to see you again, and looking forward to the more that you do. And thank you for not forgetting us in the North County,
Of course
because
not.
as some people do, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and great things to come. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
feedback.
Mayor.
All right, any other questions? Or go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you for your presentation. May I ask you a favor? If
Yes.
I may? You have Cynthia come up with you so that we can give her kudos too. and-
Yes.
and this-
Absolutely. She's the
Yay.
real star here.
Okay,
She is.
great. Hello. I have a few questions. How long have you been serving the Bay Shore?
This is my second year. So actually, when we merged, I was there day one.
Yep.
So going into second year now.
And how's transportation arranged for the kids at Bay Shore?
So we're actually now in the school. So I know previous years Mid Peninsula used to use a community center, but we actually came in and decided to be integrated in the school. So we're no longer walking up to the community center. Everything we do is in-house. And this also allows us to have a better relationship with the teachers, really like understand what the students' needs are, and like working together. It's a true partnership. So that we can best support the students.
What are your hours there?
So students, regular days, it's from 3 to 6 p.m. Wednesdays are minimum days. We serve them from 1 to 6.
All right, thank you. I ask you those questions because you've only verified and you validated for me as to the work that you folks are doing for our community and the children. I have two grandkids that attend Bayshore Elementary School. And if you go to your last slide, if you would, the last one. That scene is so familiar to me because that's right across the street from Bayshore Elementary. I'm very well aware of that area. So when the mom and dad asked me to go pick them up, one day I showed up at 4:30, and the look that they gave me, in other words, you don't show up early, you show up close to 5. So it's ingrained in me that they stay there as long as they can. I pick them up at 5, and everything is good because they don't want to leave. And I noticed that, and that only attests to me the importance and the care that you folks provide. I mean, I can pick them up after school at 3 o'clock and they'll just come home and watch TV and be on the iPad, but this gives them something to do when they're at the Peninsula Boys and Girls Club. So I want to say thank you so much. And again, you validated the great work that you folks do. Thank you so much.
Thank
That's all
you.
I have.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Great
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to item number 2, which is the proclamation of United Against Hate Week, November 12th through 18, 2023. Presenting the proclamation is our Vice Mayor, Justin Manello. Go ahead.
I think this for later. For later. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a proclamation this evening, United Against Hate Week, November 12th to 18th, 2023. Whereas the United States is a nation of immigrants whose strength comes from its diversity. And whereas the Constitution of the United States confers equality on all individuals, regardless of race, gender, orientation, religion, or political beliefs. And whereas recent rhetoric has generated a toxic environment that encourages the propagation of racist, xenophobic, anti-Semitic, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, and other negative views by emboldened hate groups and individuals. And whereas deep divisions within our country are the result of extreme ideology, further strengthening a cycle of mistrust and suspicion fueled by fear, anxiety, and insecurity. And whereas the number of hate crimes across the United States has increased dramatically over the years, and whereas the city of Daly City is committed to becoming and being a welcoming, inclusive, tolerant, and safe community for all. And whereas education, compassion, and cooperation are key to unlocking understanding and embracing differences between people. And whereas the city of Daly City joins other communities around the state in recognizing United Against Hate Week as an important step in bridging divisions as well as strengthening our communities. Now, therefore, Mayor Ray Bonaventura and the members of the City Council hereby proclaim November 12 to 18 as United Against Hate Week in the city of Daly City and encourages the Daly City community to stand together against hate and recognizes that it is an important step in bridging divisions and healing communities.
Okay, thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I want to just also recognize you for all the work that you've done on this issue, especially when this first surfaced and came up. You were very proactive in organizing the people of Daly City and uniting against hate. So for that, I want to thank you. Is there any other comments or questions by any of the council?
Just one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to remind people that I know this is a week that everybody chooses to recognize that, but in our community, and then sometimes things get a little, whatever it is, because the world is soft, we cannot allow that, any of that hate come here. We must make sure that rather than we must reject it with ourselves, from our inner self, and from our inner self, we have the ability to choose. Are we going to include somebody? Or are we going to make sure we're really inclusive? Or are we going to omit them? Are we going to omit them in whatever activity we do and they're there and we don't recognize them? Or are we have that choice? So we have to choose love and kindness, and we have to truly act and include everyone, not just talk about it, but be about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Giovanni. Any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say to the businesses out there and the residents and the schools, I mean, this has been something that has been created since 2018. And a lot of businesses in our community have stood up against hate. And I know that it's something that's visible, but really standing up and stating that you will not allow any hate into your business, into your schools, and speaking up about it is so important. Because what we've seen is that there has been violence, there has been words. And when you speak up and say something about it, we make sure that in our communities that is not tolerated and that we stand united against hate because we love our communities first and foremost, and that we teach our young children that love is first and foremost, and speaking up is so important. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Vice Mayor. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, okay, let's move on to item number 3, which is the Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club Daly City Flu Shots Project presented by Uni Buckley. Uni Buckley. Hi, evening.
Good evening, Mayor Buenaventura, Vice Mayor Jocelyn Manalo, Council Members Pamela De Giovanni, Rod Magbual, and Mr. Glenn Sylvester. My name is Uni Buckley. I am the Charter President of the Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club, a club that was chartered during the thick of the pandemic. We recently celebrated our 3rd-year anniversary, and we've done a lot of projects, not only locally, but also in the Philippines. I am basically, with me tonight is our current president, Ms. Ora Saylor, our first vice president, Mr. Con Buckley, who is also my personal assistant. As I mentioned earlier, Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club celebrated its third year anniversary last October 20th. We've done a lot of projects not only here but also in the Philippines. We have cyber members in the Philippines as well as other countries. Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club is a very, very special Lions Club in such a way that we not only do projects that are, how will I say it, that are ordinary, but we also do projects that are also outside the box. Most recently, we turned over 2 libraries in the Philippines. We created or built a community park in the Philippines. And here locally, we partner with Ronald McDonald. We also adopted a public park in San Leandro. Of course, we would love to do more work here in the Bay Area if we are allowed to do so. We are honored that out of the 59 clubs in District 4C4, some located in your own backyard, that Commissioner Cheryl reached out to us to ask if we are willing to partner with the City of Daly City in providing flu shots to the residents of Daly City. While I admit that it's not our main project or it's not our specialty, we can also partner with other clubs in the district to be able to provide you with that kind of service. I reached out to Commissioner Cheryl earlier today to ask if you already have a date in mind for the event, but apparently we will need to work with the city of Daly City in identifying a date somewhere or sometime in December. So basically, I'm here to introduce the Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club and offer our services to you guys. We would love to partner with the City of Daly City in all the projects that you have for the community. And rest assured that we will do our very best to make sure that we do our very best to make everything happen. Thank you.
So let me just thank you and your members and the Lions Club. The Lions Club has always had a very special place in my heart. I used to be a Lion a long time ago,
Time to come back.
And I marveled at the way you organized and you just kept trying to do good. You just kept trying to think of things that you can organize together. And the whole purpose of your club is to do good things for people. And it's just never ending. And I see the list of all the things you're doing, and I didn't know about the overseas projects and especially what you're doing in the Philippines. I think that's incredible. So I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you for coming to Daly City and showing some interest in partnering with us. I think that would be a very welcome thing to do. I think I actually got a COVID shot from one of your events a long time ago, but your reach is.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah, I think it was over there. But anyway, so thank you, and I'm sure some of my other council members have some comments. Let me start with the vice mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for your initiative in regards to reaching out with the Bago Lions Club. I think, as far as the flu shots in our community, there have been community members here in the past that have also just shared, even prior to the meeting, maybe a collaboration with you both in conducting. But I think one thing we would like to do, along with my colleagues, is see how best the city of Daly City could partner. And I think that, especially with the flu season now, I did see that there is like the perfect timing to get it is very soon as far as the flu shot. And it's amazing to see all of the domestic projects you've done as well as the overseas projects. But I think this is an opportunity to collaborate and partner. I think Mayor Benaventura alluded to it, that he got a COVID, or I think, was it COVID?
COVID,
Yeah,
yeah.
COVID from one of the clinics that you had put on together. So I think there's other Lions Clubs members here,
Yes.
and I think it's really an opportunity, other clubs to join together and partner. I think that's, and you said it, that there are, I'm actually part of a Lions Club as well. I'm a baby lion with a DC Lions Host Club. So there's a lot of collaboration. I know a lot of our DC's finest, our Daly City's finest, have been participatory in the DC Lions Host Club. But I think there's an excellent idea here. And I have no doubt that it will come to fruition and execution. I just want to say that I am in full support to seeing this happen. I think health is so important in our community, especially the well-being of everyone, especially since we've seen what happened with COVID. Now flu season is upon us. And it's just really exciting and invigorating to see so many organizations that want to give back. And Mayor Bonaventura alluded to that. The activation, just the willingness to give back, to serve, is huge. I see that with your organization, and I also see that with many of those that are in the audience that have given back as well. So I would say on the cusp of towards, I think it's also not only United Against Hate Week, but I think it's also like National Kindness Week, right? There's so
Yes.
many amazing things. So on the cusp of it being giving thanks following week, I think this is really wonderful to see. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for all the work that you've done, all of the work that those in the audience have done as well.
It's actually all about collaboration. And I just want to mention to you that most recently we partnered with the Philippine Medical Society of Northern California and Cub Foundation. And we all, during our Fall into Wellness event, where we also invited other clubs some of them are here tonight, who helped us administer the flu shots. So-
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for that key collaboration. I also want to acknowledge our Recreation Commissioner, Cheryl Qatar, for, also bringing people together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Vice Mayor. Dr. Rod.
Thank you, Uni, and the rest of the Lions that came here. You do excellent work. I was just doing a quick search, and he said the areas that the Bago Lions Club has a global framework that looks at vision, hunger, environment, diabetes, and childhood cancer. Is that correct? Yeah, and it's so important, right? Because when we talk about all these different things that are happening in our community, both here and in the Philippines, it's the ideas of how all these things are all interconnected. How environment or where you live is connected to poverty or people's outlook, like health outlooks, and to have like an organization such as yourselves provide and address some of these issues, it's like one step to addressing the larger issue of health issues. So I just want to say thank you for everything that you all do as an organization, and hopefully we can collaborate in the future.
Go ahead, Ms. Tijuman.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for being here. And then I know that everybody, I know what Lions, the theme is Lions Serve, right? But I would be remiss, I think the title, we all know, is Dr. June Valera is here. He was the governor, or still the governor, or past governor of the Lions. And then Pat Anchetta and himself, they have the San Francisco host Lions. So they recently have done, probably you didn't know, that just so my council knows a brief history. They just did a round at Our Lady of Mercy, Crocker Lodge, and they've been doing this, how many years, Dr. June? 15 years here in Daly City. So I would say that Dr. June is in charge, and they're working with our city manager currently to establish a health clinic, hopefully, and they will obtain flu shots as well. So Dr. June, I just didn't want to make sure you knew that San Francisco, to be very transparent, hosts Lions Club with Mr. Lion Pat Anchetta. They've been doing that for many years here and have just going through the group of churches and everything else. And I know that your heart is in the right spot. So probably I didn't know if you communicated with them at all, with Dr. June.
I am actually very much aware of the things that the other clubs are doing.
Yeah.
In fact, I was the centennial president of the San Francisco Lions Club, but we saw a need to form another club, and that's the reason why we formed Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club.
That's great.
We are not here to step on anybody's
no.
toes. We are here because of the invitation of Council
Yeah.
of Commissioner Cheryl.
Yeah, all lions are welcome, of course, because who doesn't love a lion, right? And because the lions serve. But I would say because I guess how the ranking, I don't know how the ranking goes within the Lions Club. Whether you guys have those big conventions. I know that he's just returned from the Philippines as well, doing a mission, and that that you guys have to speak to like the governors and things like that.
I am very much aware of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And before I came here tonight, I also checked with the current district governor on how things are done, if this is proper. And I also
Sure.
communicated with the Daly City Host Lions Club about this project and told them that we are willing to collaborate with any clubs in the area who are willing to do it with us.
Oh, great.
But we are happy to spearhead it. If you decide to have somebody else do it, as I said earlier, we are basically here to offer our services,
Thank you.
whatever we can do for the Daly City, for the city of Daly City.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's great. So, like you said, you talked to the Daly City Host Lions, and there's Dr. June right there. It's a great opportunity to speak with him.
Sure. Thank you so much for giving me. Oh,
Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
sorry.
Maraming salamat, ha?
Walang anuman po.
First of all, I want to make mention about the paperwork I received. You've got a great printer. And
I didn't know that we're allowed to do PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, yeah.
I just printed some of our projects to give you an idea on what we've been doing so far in the last 3 years. Please check us out. We have a very, very active Facebook page, Bay Area Global Outreach Lions Club. We have a very good marketing person in the name of Con Buckley who updates everything that we do in our Facebook page.
The wellness.
So, anyway, and continuing, normally when I go through information, like you see this, I tear it in half so I can throw it away later, but this I won't.
Thank you.
Because I'm going to take this and I'm going to go through it and cherish it. As a former president of the Filipino American Law Enforcement Officers Association, which has been in existence for over 22 years, every year we go to the Philippines on a goodwill mission. And throughout the year, we obtain medical supplies. I would obtain computers, clean them up, and all sorts of supplies and bicycles. And it really meant a lot to me when I saw the second one here, and it says creation of public playgrounds in underserved barangays. And as a law enforcement professional, we would go there and we would learn from the PNP and the barangay captains because that does not exist here. In other words, it takes the work off of the PNP because you have the barangay captain who he or she does so much to keep the peace within the community. And it was a goodwill mission to learn from them as well, not just that we go there and give stuff away at all the different provinces and all the different types of cities.
Yeah.
We prepare for 1 year, every year, and we get a cargo container, which I think we can fit over 100 Balikbayan boxes and bicycles, and we ship it so that when we get there, it's there for us. So I mean, the outreach is amazing to me. And when I saw one picture on here, and that was with the vision screening service for school children in the Philippines. And I remember locations such as this, especially with a big table, and we would have something, and I'm sure you're very familiar, called boodle fight.
Yes, yes.
And that's when you eat with your hands, you wash your hands. I mean, such great memories, and you've only brought that back to me to tell me how very important is the work that you do. Your motto is "We serve
Yes.
liberty, intelligence, our nation's safety." So I want to say thank you so much for coming here, and we hope that we can have a collaboration in the future. Sounds like to me you will have the support. If you don't ask, you don't get.
True.
Okay? So
Thank you so much. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite everyone to please join us when you have a chance in one of our mission. I just have to warn you that we have the tendency to go to the mountains, places where, where aids and help are not, people who are not reached by the aids and help of other, or help from the city. So,
You're speaking of
Province.
the mountains in the Philippines?
sir?
Are you speaking of the mountains in the Philippines?
Yes, yes.
Or if you go to Baguio, which is always cool, perhaps that might work. But out of 7,101 islands there, you can only do so much, and we understand that.
We believe that the more people we encourage and inspire to serve, we will be able to reach a lot more people who will not have any help if we don't start doing these things. Thank you again so much, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your presentation. All right, let's move on to the approval of the minutes under item number 4, which is the regular meeting of the October 23rd, 2023 meeting.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to have some revisions to the minutes of the regular meeting of October 3rd, 2023. It was in regards to the item with the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce. When I was on the dais, I did mention that I wanted my comments for the record in regards to the contract that was in place. I do not see that in the minutes and would like to make sure that's reflected in the minutes, Madam Clerk.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor?
go ahead.
Also, I just would like also added, under the communication for the minutes, for the record, that when I received the contract at 5:20, as I mentioned before, closed session at 6 PM, council meeting was at 7. There was not enough time to review the contracts, so unfortunately, at that particular time, I had to abstain.
Okay,
And I'll just give this to you.
with those modifications, any other modifications or corrections? All
Thank
right,
you.
with those modifications, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes with those modifications.
Here, a second.
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 All in favor, say aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none, those minutes are approved as modified. Let's go to the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve agenda.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Public appearances or communications. I have 3 speaker cards. Let me start with Dr. Augusto Valera Jr. Dr. Valera, you have 2 minutes. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, City Manager Tom, Council Member Pam, Council Member Rod, Mayor Ray, Vice Mayor Jocelyn, and Council Member Glenn. I have 2 hats while I'm here. This is only a comment. Good comment. 2 hats. One is I am a long time Daly City resident, voter, who raised children in Daly City, as well as do business also in Daly City. So anything for the good of Daly City, I am for it
Yes.
because I'm a stakeholder. I watch you. Second is as a volunteer service provider in Daly City. So during my spare time, which is a lot, share my time, talent, treasure to the people of Daly City so that we have a better city. So I represent, I'm a Lions Club past district governor. I represent the Lions Club International, but not only the Lions Club International, but also the consortium of service organizations like the Mason with Vinny and Pat and the Knights of Columbus with Ed. So our passion is to help our organization. Just to give you a sort of I am the medical director of the Lions Club multi-clubs. These are composed of Lions clubs, 8 to 9 clubs. And the medical director is responsible for the health fairs and the health-related services provided to the community, especially Daly City, not only Daly City, but also San Mateo County and part of San Francisco for the last maybe 15 years. In regarding to the flu shot, I'm the one who signed. I'm responsible for all these flu shots. The count in Daly City, I partnered, I signed with the Department of Immunization, Public Immunization of San Mateo County. So I partnered with them. I'm responsible for the reporting, for the uh, uh, utilization, storage, even the people who administers this vaccine. I'm responsible for those health professionals that they make sure that they are licensed, currently licensed to practice their profession. And other things. So we've been doing this for the last 15 years. And for the last 3 years, we only provide also COVID. So just to let you know that we are providing that, but we are willing to partner with other clubs who wants to join us because the key word there is partnership and collaboration. So I think that's what we do. And again, we were going to expand our services to the people of Daly City. And believe me, it will not only be health, it can be wellness, health promotion, youth services, senior activities, anything under the sun that we know that is good for the people of Daly City. And it is, again,
Thank you,
partnership.
Doctor.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. The next speaker card I have is Benny Acevedo. Benny.
Good evening, Mayor Ventura, Vice Mayor Manalo, uh, Council Member Sylvester, Council Member Magbal, Council Member Di Giovanni, City Manager Tom, and the staff. I'm Ben Acevedo. I am a Daly City resident and a community navigator, or we often call ourselves social GPS, geographic positioning systems. It's not the technological thing that we are talking about GPS, but it's a social. We roam around the community, and I'm sure you have heard about us, and you have also accessed some of our services as social navigators. Now I'm here standing before you because we thought the council would tackle about the proposal that we're talking about at Bepler. Now, but I was misinformed. I didn't know that it's not in the agenda. But anyway, I'm here to support the collaboration and partnership that any undertaking to be done in Daly City is. As a matter of fact, I've been in the community for more than 20 years, and we have been always advocating for collaboration and partnerships. And just to react to your statement about the barangays in the Philippines, Councilman Sylvester, what Healthways, unfortunately or fortunately, I represent Healthways, a small community-based organization based in Daly City, is that we bring knowledge from the Philippines and apply it here. One knowledge is the barangay health scholar approach, and we adopted it here in Northern San Mateo County, and we call it the CACI, Community Advocates and Key Informants, and PACERS, People's Advocate and Community Engagement Resources. So the concept of barangay health worker is adopted here, and we use that for our common, people. And thank you for that. It's
Thank you,
time.
Benny. Nice to see you. Fernando Montanez.
Can folks hear me? Hello? Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm here again as the community liaison for Driving for Equity, and we just wanted to provide you guys some updates. It was a great weekend. The kids were able to collect over 60 bags of clothes, and a lot of community residents, members were able to come out and support them at March Banks. And so we just wanted to thank the mayor, vice mayor for their blessings and the invitation again to present here, and the council members for supporting, and the city manager and their staff for being so generous and sharing their social media to outreach for our event. There is such thing as a good problem, and the good problem that we have is we have a lot of clothes, and we're expecting more supplies coming during our second round of community drives and basic necessities drives. And so I'm here also on behalf of the students to humbly ask that the council would be able to support us in finding storage, perhaps low cost or no cost at all, because we are working with a limited amount of grant money. And so that's just something I'd like to extend as a conversation to have with the council, is helping us find storage for the supplies that we will be collecting. So again, thank you for everyone's support, and I hope to come back again to do another presentation when we do our second round of collection drives coming this holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernando. All right, moving on to our consent. Oh, do we have any written public comment or none? Okay. Let's go on to our consent agenda. Are there any items on consent that any council member would like to pull?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, just 5, 6, and 10.
All right, so 5, 6, and 10. Any others?
Yes, if I may. Item number 12.
5, 6, 10, and 12. All right, any others?
Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve all remaining items except for 5, 6, 10, and 12?
Motion to approve all items except for 5, 6, 10, and 12.
Can I get a second?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, those items are approved. Now let's go on to item number 5, which is the 2023 Quarter 3 Investment Report. Mr. Nevin.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. This evening, item number 5 is the 2023 Quarter 3 Investment Report provided to you by the City Treasurer. Ms. Halverson is sick this evening and unable to join us in person. So I just wanted to come up and introduce the item. Ms. Halverson provided again the report. I believe this may be the first time you've seen the new format for the report, but she has a new provider helping her with this report, a company named Simpro, and they've laid out the investments that the city has. And any questions I can forward to her that you have regarding that report.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Oh,
Giovanni.
thank you for being here. I hope she's feeling better. No, I just basically, I was looking through the investments and just seeing it like like a percentage. So is it just accrued of the interest when I see on page, let's see, I'm not gonna put pressure on you, Mr. Nevin. Like the total of the interest that we are gaining on all these different, I see San Mateo County Pool, local agencies. All right, down on page, I think it's probably near the end where it flips, right? But anything I can just email you as well, right? And the city manager.
Sure, yeah. The first page, I'm not exactly sure which other page you're referring to with the interest, but the first page shows the
Sure.
percentage of the portfolio and where those funds are invested.
Okay. All right. And so the only thing is, would you happen to know when, so this is just now when it ends. So looking at any different type of investment that I know that Councilmember Sylvester had spoken about that we saw at our convention and the city manager was working on, when would that be addressed? Not till next year, maybe? Oh,
I do have a small slight update on the regarding Councilmember Sylvester's information.
great. Thank you.
Regarding California class.
Thank you.
It's a public joint powers authority for investment of public funds. So staff has received the informational material provided by Councilmember Sylvester and has forwarded this information to the city treasurer. She did indicate to me that she is in the process of updating the city's investment policy. And when she brings this to your council for consideration, she would include an update that would allow for the city to invest with a JPA, which our current policy does not accommodate. So that is the current update that I have from the city treasurer.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank her as well. And thank you to the city manager. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Nevin. I guess you know me all too well because I was going to ask that question and you have already given me an answer. I noticed by the in total of investments, as on page 1, is $226,972,332.42, and that's in the first column. May I ask how much of that is Daly City's money?
Most of that is, I do recall in the prior reports, I think it was broken out by what was City of Daly City money and what was sanitation district funds. Um, I don't, I don't recall the exact proportion, but I think it's over 90% of the funds are city funds and less than 10% are sanitation district funds that are invested.
So out of the 226 million, how much of that is Daly City's?
I don't have the exact figure.
Te- 10%? I mean, we got 21 cities in San Mateo County.
No, I'm sorry. These are all city funds. These are not funds that are invested by any other city in the county. These are funds that the city of Daly City is investing in again, various areas, San Mateo County Pool, LAIF, Treasury coupons. Ms. Halverson invests regularly in different CDs that have different 3 to 5 year maturities that we alternate and rotate often.
All right.
So those are city funds, but I did want to mention that some of those funds are sanitation district funds that are not part of the city fund total that you're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, I'm definitely aware of that. Well, that's an impressive number if you ask me. And I see at the end of the report, the effective rate of return was 3.24%. Fiscal year to date is 3.49. You agree?
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update on Cal Class, because I know Cal Class is paying close to 5.4%. And I just can't see what the delay is other than becoming part of a JPA. But I think that the city can do much better because when the Fed has raised interest rates if you want to buy a home, if you want to buy a car, consumer interest rates, the subsequent increase in investments also go up. So I feel that 3.24%, we can do much better than that. And I'm hoping, every time I come to a council meeting, I'm looking for an update on Cal Class. If I'm not mistaken, if Daly City needed to take some of these funds out, we would have to wait 45 days. Is that correct?
I believe there are different timeframes for the different types of funds, as I mentioned, with some of the CDs that we're invested in. Those have various maturities. They might be 3 or 5 year maturities to get the rate that you get on those. But
Okay.
right, in the other types of funds where we have a large portion of our portfolio, we do have to wait some to get some of those funds out. It's not a long period of time, but it is longer than what you were
All right.
mentioning.
Thank you for that. Would you kindly provide Ms. Halverson an update? Because I'm very familiar with Cal Class, and it's to my understanding, the waiting period to take out funds is 1 day. So as far as liquidity is concerned, I think it's a no-brainer that we should be a part of Cal Class, maybe taking out a certain percentage, maybe 10%, 5%, and see how it does. And then we can move from there. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none.
Thank you, Mr. Nevin.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve item number 5?
Motion to approve item number 5.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Objection, hearing none, that item
Thank you, Mr.
is
Nevin.
approved. Let's go on to item number 6, which is the fiscal year 2023 annual report on collection and use developer public facility fees. Mr. Nevin.
Thank you. For item number 6, it's recommended that the city council approve the annual report on the collection and use of developer public facility fees for fiscal year 2023. AB 1600 developer public facility fees are revenues derived from developer fees that are restricted to infrastructure expenditures for expansion and enhancements necessitated by new development. The fees generate funding for use for the following infrastructure elements: police facilities and equipment, public library facilities, fire facilities and equipment, recreation facilities, city administrative facilities, city street and sidewalk improvements, water production and distribution facilities, wastewater collection and treatment facilities, and storm drain collection and dispersal facilities. The use of the fees is established in the city's capital budget during each budget period. These fees provide a portion of funding for various eligible projects in priorities established by the adopted budgets. State law requires the city to segregate its public facility fee revenue and not commingle it with other city funds. To meet this requirement, the city has established a separate public facility fees fund specifically to track the collection and use of public facility fees and to allocate interest earned. State law also requires this annual report be brought before the governing body for approval. The beginning balance in this fund as of July 1st, 2022 was $4.7 million. During fiscal year 2023, revenues totaling almost $200,000 were received from developer fees, and interest of just over $91,000 was earned. A total of $436,089 was transferred out of the AB 1600 fund. $158,461 was transferred to the gas tax fund for roadway and storm drain use, and $277,628 was transferred to the water fund for water improvements. The ending balance in the fund as of June 30th, 2023 was just about $4.58 million. Staff recommends the City Council approve the annual report on the collection and use of developer public facility fees for fiscal year 2023. Staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the mayor or city council members. Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Giovanni.
just real quick, I just want to say that, this is to let the public know that when we get the development fees under that AB 1600, that this really goes to great capital improvements that are well served. And Mr. Nevin and Mr. Chu, really appreciate all the work that you guys do and making sure they're transferred properly, and that now there's a balance, and because we know we still have all those capital improvements that I start to dream about at nighttime, because I know I still see the list that we all went through, but this is a great job. I want people to know that Mr. Nevin, Mr. Chu, and our city manager, they really watch and make sure that they're taken care of, especially out of the water fund, and that anything they can do to generate, instead of taking out of our general fund, this is what they do, and they do it well, and I appreciate it. Thank you, and for the people.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Maybe Mr. Chu can answer this question. Mr. Nevin, you alluded to it. You took out a certain amount of money for road repair. How's our fund on SB 1 doing?
Yes, thank you. Typically, on average, every year, our SB1 money, we bring in about $2 million. And we do put that into the road system, doing slurry seal type projects, pavement rehabilitation projects. Unfortunately, the cost for pavement repair is also going up as well. But yeah, we are using all of that for our pavement projects.
Well, thank you for that answer, Mr. Chu. Basically, the reason why I asked that question, because I want to commend you because it definitely shows. I mean, the slurry seal, and when I notice an abundance of traffic, you just did Hillside Boulevard, which was in definitely need of slurry seal. And I'm glad that you're staying up on the various streets that needs repair and utilization of the funds in a manner that is definitely, to me, commendable. So, job well done. Thank you very much.
Madam Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the presentation in regards to the fees and obviously it going to capital improvements. I think my question is in regards to all of these, or the fee itself, when was the last time we looked at the fees itself, or are we up to par with all of the other jurisdictions around us?
We have actually gone through a process of looking for a consultant to help us update those fees. And so I imagine those to be brought before you in the next year.
Okay, thank you. I think that that assessment is really important because it will show us a snapshot of where we're at, whether or not we're behind, whether we're right on the dot, and if anything, if we do need to move the needle with the jurisdictions around us, that means that's more opportunity for us to enhance our infrastructure. So thank you for that comment, and thank you to the work to both of you, Director Chu and Director Nevin. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve this item?
Motion to approve item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none, this item is approved. Moving on to item number 10, which is to authorize the city manager to participate in Peninsula Clean Energy Solar and Storage on Public Building Program. Mr. Chu.
Yes, good evening. Very happy to introduce Peter Levitt with Peninsula Clean Energy. He is here to provide a presentation on this item.
Come on up.
Good evening, members of the City Council, members of the public, and to Richard and Leilani. It's been a pleasure to work with you so far. My name is Peter Levitt, and I work with Peninsula Clean Energy. Peninsula Clean Energy is the local electricity provider. Our mission is to decarbonize our portion of the Bay Area, San Mateo County, and Los Banos. And we do so by serving renewable energy to all of our member agencies, including the City of Daly City. We also run programs such as investing in solar energy for various public facilities, and we've been working with city staff to identify facilities where we could add solar, both for the sake of reducing carbon emissions from those facilities and achieving a significant bill savings over the course of a long-term contract. Should we keep going here? Oh, great. So I'm going to just give you a little bit more detail about Peninsula Clean Energy. I'm going to recap the program for you folks to give you the structure of what we're looking at. We'll talk about some comparative financials. We will touch on battery storage for these facilities as well, and then we're going to proceed with the resolution. So as I mentioned, Peninsula Clean Energy is the local not-for-profit electricity provider to all of San Mateo County, as well as the city of Los Banos. It works like this, where we supply clean energy generation. PG&E delivers that energy to residences, buildings, various facilities, and then the customers end up using the renewable energy that Peninsula Clean Energy provides. We've been around since 2016. You folks maybe are already familiar with us. Definitely, we have various representation from the City Council on Peninsula Clean Energy's board. We've saved our customers a significant amount of money since our inception. Please proceed. So the objectives of this program, as I mentioned, is to both drive renewable energy and achieve cost savings. I'm going to gloss over some things here. Some things are kind of no-brainer background pieces of information. But in general, Peninsula Clean Energy, the model here is for us to own the equipment and finance it so that there's no upfront cost to the city. And then we play a very hands-on role in designing the system, developing projects. We handle vendor selection. And then in the end, we offer a financed arrangement to Daly City to offtake the energy from Peninsula Clean Energy. This is all done through an aggregated procurement so as to achieve economies of scale and buy down the cost of power. Next slide, please. So we already have 12 facilities that are underway through the first round of this program. Now we are looking at the second round. You can see here the Colma Community Center is already up with glass on the rooftop. We have one facility that has already achieved permission to operate. There are 10 agencies in the first round, and now we've expanded to a larger cohort, including the city of Daly City. So a little bit about the program sequence. Again, I'm just going to gloss over most of this, but we've been working with city staff since about a year ago to identify facilities that we've then studied for their solar potential. We did a filtering process, hired some engineers to help us evaluate that solar potential and design systems. We submitted interconnection applications for those arrays. Now we are running a request for proposals for vendors to come on board and build the stuff. And that's just concluded today. And so we will proceed with shortlisting soon to move forward with the firm that will then build the systems over the course of the next 2.5-ish years. And this will all lead to systems coming online over the next year, 2.5 years. So the main reason that we're doing these projects is to achieve cost savings at the City of Daly City's facilities. So as we all know, electricity rates are really on the rise, and we project that they will continue to be so for the next 20 years. And this is a way to hedge against those rising electricity rates. It allows the city to lock into a fixed price contract over the course of 20 years, meaning that if any energy prices are, it devolves all the risk on the energy side. If we can keep going to the next slide, this is just a little bit more about that cost escalation that we're expected to see. The CPUC did a study in 2019 expecting a 3.7% rate of escalation from 2020 to 2030. We've already seen that well eclipsed. PG&E has announced and executed on various rate increases already. Costs are just going up. These contracts allow the City of Daly City to lock into these fixed rate contracts over a long period of time. I personally have worked in the solar energy industry for a long time, and I guess a long time by my own standards. I've seen a lot of successful projects in the industry, and this is building off of the success of the solar power purchase agreement contract that is proven across the industry. So a little bit about the financials. So we will be fully transparent. We ourselves are a joint powers authority public agency, and so we will have nothing to hide in terms of the financials. It is a financed loan or lease type of agreement. So we've been fully transparent with city staff so far, and we will continue to be so. One thing to recognize here is that we aim to maximize rooftop types of installations so as to achieve cost reductions, because carport projects are still economically viable, but a little bit less so due to the steel required for the installation. So these are some of the indicative prices that we can offer the city. These are not based off of actual cost figures that we received through the current request for proposals that is out. This is based off of prior costing that we received. We expect and hope that we will be able to beat these prices. However, you can see here the basic prices that we can offer for carport sites and for rooftop and ground mount sites to the City of Daly City. It is worth noting here that there are two rows, a 0% escalator option and a 2% escalator option. We wanted to show those options as guardrails or bookends of the pricing that we will be able to offer. And we hope to offer a 0% rate of escalation so the city can firmly budget its energy costs in the long run. You can see in the row below with the 0% escalator option, the prices for energy on a dollars per kilowatt hour or unit of energy basis. You can also see the current energy rates at different types of facilities. So B1 facilities are smaller facilities, B6 are larger, B10 are really big, and many of the facilities here are on B1 and B6 rates, meaning that the 20 to 25 cent PPA rate that we can offer the city comes in at a discount in year one to what the city is currently paying for electricity, and then it stays flat, whereas energy prices are expected to climb. So these are our expected savings over the 20-year contract term with the city across each of the facilities that we are looking at. You will see that there are 5 facilities that we're looking at with cost projections. The other 2 facilities that we're looking at are somewhat TBD because they will likely need to incorporate battery storage into the financial picture. And when you introduce battery storage, there's a little bit of back and forth you need to do in order to size the system adequately. The amount of backup power comes into the equation. So we don't have cost projection or savings projections for those yet. But you can see that each of the projects is currently in the green to the tune of about $200,000 on average per project over the 20-year term. So, this would result in significant savings if the project was able to move forward at these rates. Another thing that's worth noting is that These projects, most of them, the ones that have cost projections or savings projections, are, like I said, on B1, B6, and B10 rates. And if you folks are familiar with what is going on with net energy metering and the way that solar has changed in California since April of this year, we were able to grandfather in these facilities into the former net metering structure, which is favorable to the city. However, for our solar plus storage projects, that is not necessarily relevant, and so we have not submitted interconnection applications for those. And this slide is basically a summary saying those projects should move forward. The solar ones should definitely get priority to move forward, whereas the solar and storage can be on a different track and they are less urgent. And then the sites that I did mention, the ones that had the TBD for the financial savings, those are B19 and B20 sites, meaning that is their energy rate, and they have demand charges, which battery storage can help to manage. So this is a wonky way of saying that solar and storage for some facilities makes more sense, whereas solar by itself makes more financial sense for other facilities. So we are prioritizing the solar-only facilities for the time being, and we are doing some deep financial analysis where we'll come back to the city with savings projections for the B19 and B20 facilities. So this is the request to adopt the resolution, which would authorize your city manager to enter into a power purchase agreement with Peninsula Clean Energy if your agency deems that the program provides financial and or community benefits. I'll pause there.
Great. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Levitt. I remember there from the conception with Dave Pine. That's how old we go, way back, even before I was even on the council when PC first started, and our representative is Dr. Rod. But the only question I have is, so that's to be determined. I believe I asked that to the city manager about the cost and things like that. When you look for a vendor, well, I guess I can have that with city manager, preferably now that green energy is moving towards trades and unions. Prefer to be a union, and some of the unions hire veterans. So I think that that's a good one. And I know that PC probably would promote a lot of that.
That
Because
is
they're very union friendly.
absolutely. That is currently a part of our scoring criteria in the request for proposals. It gives positive points for shops that commit
Trades.
to using union labor. And on our first procurement, we selected Intermountain Electric, and they are using all union labor for almost all of the installations, all portions of the installations, except for boring underground. Apparently, that is a really tough nut to crack.
They're getting there, yeah. I
Yeah,
know
that's
it's
right.
new, and they're training everyone, so, but to even get that far, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's great, and I know that we're a city that supports labor as well. Looking forward to see our city seal on there as well. So thank you very much, and thanks for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
And
Go
thank you to
ahead.
the city manager.
The rest.
Mr. Levitt, thank you. You ready? You mentioned in your slides, and one of my questions was the differences between NEMS 2.0 versus 3.0. And you made mention that we can be grandfathered in for 3.0. Is that true?
My apologies if I misspoke, but the intention here is to grandfather the facilities into NEM 2.0, the favorable net metering structure for solar projects.
All right. Well, it's my understanding under NEMS, net energy metering, 3.0, the energy that you collect during the day when the sun is up is sold back to the grid at the same price that you would pay for energy. However, under NEMS 2.0, as per the CPUC, that has decreased by approximately 66%. So it's not the same rate. So what I'm leading to is your projections, does that include the NEMS 2.0 and what we're hoping to get back?
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. Great question, and absolutely, we ran this program with the intention of capturing the most favorable net metering structure for our solar projects. And net metering 2.0 allows you to overgenerate from the solar during the day, capture a pool of credits, and then whenever else you're using energy at night or in the morning, you can draw on that bank of credits. And as you astutely pointed out, for the new version of net metering, that is no longer the case. You no longer get a bank of credits. You just get compensation in real time based off of the energy rate during the day, which in California, we have a lot of solar, so it's not very high. So it's really imperative that we move forward with the projects that we have successfully grandfathered for the city of Daly City so that those solar projects can get grounded in the grandfathered net metering 2.0 and receive the more favorable net metering structure. Our savings projections would not be relevant at all, and these projects would be likely underwater if they were moving forward under the new net metering regime.
Don't get me wrong when I'm asking you these questions, because I feel that we should have done this yesterday, maybe like 2 years ago. So don't get me wrong, because that's what I'm trying to get across so that the public understands how very important this collaboration with PCE is. Okay? Okay. You showed a chart indicating certain rates. 0.31 cents a kilowatt, some as low as 2.5 cents a kilowatt. There you go, the first one, the 0% escalator. Now, I'm just wondering, how do you get these rates? Is it based upon time of day? And are these rates reflective of when the rates are cheapest?
That's a great question. So we established these figures, the 25 cents, the 21 cents, et cetera, based off of Peninsula Clean Energy's necessary lowest cost to recoup our investment over the 20-year period, and also taking into consideration when solar energy will be producing and sold to the city. So over the course of the 20-year period, Peninsula Clean Energy, who puts out for the upfront costs of the construction and the equipment, needs to make ourselves whole. We need to break even, but we're pursuing a 0% return on investment. And in order to do so, we need to charge the city of Daly City a volumetric energy rate for the solar energy that is produced. That's the simple version. And if there's not additional layers I can add, please help me.
Well, this kind of segue into the ROI, which you made mention, but I still have some questions. So, as a PCE customer, to which it has gone out to every resident in San Mateo County, to which every resident has opted in unless they send a notice to opt out. And the reason why I question these rates, because the best I can do on the time of use and charging an electric vehicle at the best time of day, which is after midnight, the best I can do through PCE is 26 cents a kilowatt. So I'm just wondering, well, if I'm a customer, how come I'm not paying cheaper?
That's fair. So the solar pricing that we're looking at here takes into consideration that we're looking at large scale solar systems across these facilities. The types of installations would be in the 1 to 300 kilowatt range per system, which is somewhere between 25 to 75 times larger than your average residential installation. Because of that, we can achieve economies of scale and offer the city of Daly City a lower energy rate. It also helps that other public agencies are participating in this program to really bolster the size of the project and get a lot of bidder attention on the whole program. So that all is to say that there's a number of things that allow us to achieve significant economies of scale, and that lets us offer the city a lower energy price than, for instance, what we offer a residential customer.
Thank you for that. I used to be part of PCE, and I remember having the foresight based upon the board and deciding to build solar farms. And I think at that time, it was a great idea to
Great
have the
idea.
foresight. And as a result, things are coming along great. I like to commend staff because as per the staff report, and you also showed it up there, as to various public buildings, the term is public government buildings, as per your website. And these are definitely public government buildings. So I like to commend staff for picking out these buildings. And I thought we had something, is it Fire Station 91? I thought I read something that we're going to decide on a roof repair on Fire Station 91. Don't go nowhere, Mr. Levitt.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. We do have an item on the agenda for award of contract to work on the roof at Fire Station 91. That is correct.
Great, because I know prior to the installation of solar, to which PCE has probably gone out and inspected all these sites, the condition of the roof is critical. So if the roof is only 10 years old, why put up solar panels if the average life of a solar panel at minimum is 25 years? So what I'm getting at is, I guess all these particular locations that have been chosen, PCE did look into the current condition of the roof and did find it feasible to install solar on the roof.
Yes, that is correct, Councilmember Sylvester. Peter and his team, they were wonderful in terms of working with us and our staff in terms of going out and looking at these facilities, getting the PG&E information. This started way back in over a year ago.
Right.
And then getting those applications in to get the NEMS 2.0.
Thank you so much. So apparently, I can see that a needs assessment was done. The next question I have is, Mr. Levitt, you had made mention about generating credits to the grid, and subsequently, we say if the bill for Daly City was, say, 1,000 kilowatts, but if we have 1,500 kilowatts, that would subtract, thus leaving us a bill of, say, 500 kilowatts.
Yes, that's
That's
absolutely.
just an example.
That's absolutely correct. The solar energy isn't intended to offset every unit of energy produced by these facilities at every hour. They're intended to, when you look back on it on an annual basis, have reduced a significant portion of the energy, as much as 98% on an annual basis is what we size these systems to. So it's important that the grid is still there. There will be a lot of times when the grid still needs to power the facility, even if the solar is running and not able to offset 100%.
Thank you. So in the case of PSPS, what would be the possibility of a battery backup, which was the whole purpose of NEMS 2.0 coming into play?
Yes, I can absolutely speak to that. So for the solar-only systems today, they will not be able to provide any backup power to these facilities. That's why we're leading with just the intention of achieving cost reductions for the facilities for their energy bills. When a solar energy array is online at a facility and there's a power outage, it trips offline automatically so that PG&E workers can go back out on site onto the distribution grid and repower the lines safely. However, each of these facilities will eventually be evaluated for their potential to add battery storage. After we bring the solar energy systems online, we will then be allowed to, while still grandfathering in NEM 2.0, look at retrofitting in a battery storage system for the sake of battery backup power and additional bill benefits. And that is for what the sequence of events that I just cited, where we're going to work on solar first, and then we will look at battery storage later. That is relevant for the first 5 facilities here, Bayshore Community Center down to Saramonte Library. And for the City Hall, right here, and the War Memorial, we are looking at doing that first, a combined solar and storage system that we will develop, and that will have the option, the city will have the option to look at backup power for right away for those 2 facilities. Does that address your question?
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering if there's a mechanism for the city, because batteries are very expensive. maybe 8 to 9,000 per pack. And that would subsequently, or higher, well, if you get Teslas, they got sale on Tesla Powerwalls. But that would tend to reduce the ROI. So is there a mechanism that, since PCE will own the equipment and maintain the equipment, if the city, in addition, would like to get their own power storage backup devices, could that be a possibility prior to the PPA?
So first for the first 5 projects here, we're kind of under the gun with the net metering 2.0 grandfathering requirements. We can't go back into our interconnection with PG&E and add in a battery. So the sequence of events needs to be, in order to capture the significant bill savings afforded to the solar-only systems, it needs to be do the solar first, then you can add the battery storage without having any risk that you transition the whole system to net metering 3.0, or what it's actually called is the net value billing tariff. But for the other 2 systems, we are going to look first at a solar plus storage PPA together with the city. So those two projects aren't under the gun for net metering 2.0 grandfathering, but they will move forward first on the solar and storage basis.
All right, well, what I'm basically looking for, and in doing so, in the case of PS, Public Safety Power Shutoff by PG&E, we want to have the capability of the switchover. If something happens, we will still have electricity, and that will be derived from the power storage units.
Absolutely. Our intention is to allow the city to study that option at each of the facilities. First, we're going to start with the bottom 2, and then once we complete the solar array on the top 5 here, then we will look at battery storage retrofit for those.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Levitt. I have no further questions. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If we can go back to the slide that you had earlier, I think in comparison, let's see, go back a little bit more. This slide. So I think this slide was, to me, very important because you're basically, it's so important to share with the community that the evidence is very clear with this slide, that as we move into ensuring that we invest in solar, the opportunity to save and ensure that we don't pay for more electricity on our bills, especially as a municipality, is very clear. So I'm a proponent for this. I think that obviously environmentally, as well as just I think financial solvency of the organization. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, can I get a motion to approve this item?
Motion to approve item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Objection, hearing none, this item is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to item number 12, which is the setting time and place for public hearing to consider general plan amendment and zone change on a commercial mixed zoning district. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor, members of the council. This is a request to set time and place for a public hearing to consider a general plan amendment and zone change to establish the commercial mixed-use zoning district. The request is that the public hearing be conducted on November 27, which would be the next council meeting. In March 2020, the State Department of Housing and Community Development issued a grant award to the city to develop a new commercial mixed-use zone along the Mission Street and Geneva Avenue corridor. The new zoning district would replace the existing C1 light commercial zoning for many of the properties in those corridors. The purpose of this zone change is to encourage development, particularly housing development along those corridors. The council has received a couple presentations. This was presented to the Planning Commission on November 7, and so we're excited to bring to the council a full presentation with the city's consultant Placeworks for the public hearing that we hope to be set on November 27th.
Okay, any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Mothershead, for the update. I just, in the staff report, it says Mission Street and Geneva corridors. How far down Geneva would this entail? Is it down to Bay Shore?
Yes, this would be down to Bayshore.
Okay, so I believe we have a potential project coming up at, I think, across from the Cow Palace. And I guess in order for this project to go through, it will require the putting together of the parcels of land, because they're owned by different owners, to make the project work. I'm just wondering, is this going to be considered on the 27th? The 27th.
You mean the proposed development at
The
20?
proposed development.
Okay.
And I see that this particular issue here to be heard is possibly, if we approve it, we're approving the idea based upon the consultant for a zone change as needed for mixed commercial, mixed use, which I believe is a combination of commercial and residence.
Yeah. So yes, so we would be proposing that zone change. The parcel that is slated for development that has a pending use permit application would be included in this zone change?
That's what I thought.
Yes.
All right, so if you would kindly, I requested this approximately a month and a half ago. I would like to obtain all housing bills pertaining to the development that's going to happen on Geneva, so that I can bring myself up to speed as to basically what the council can do and cannot do. You know, I find it very difficult to look online and says, okay, well, SB such and such applies here, AB such and such applies here. And, you know, I'm concerned about the community in that particular area. I just want to make sure I have my ducks in order. So once again, I'm requesting to receive electronically all housing particular bills that may be pertinent to this upcoming development, if that can be provided to me.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Any other questions or comments? We not gonna get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Thank you, Ms.
objection?
Muller.
Hearing none, this item is approved. Thank you. Let's go on to the public hearings, which is item number 15, approve an automated license plate reader program. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Coughing a little bit, but it's okay.
It's that time of the year.
Yeah.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This presentation and public hearing on an automated license plate reader program was previously set on October 23rd. Staff is recommending Council approve the program and authorize the city to enter into a contract with Flock and Axon for ALPR systems and deployment. Daly City is a relatively safe city, frequently making top of lists for safest cities in comparative size in the state and across the country. That said, we are in a dense area in a region where crime has become increasingly transitory. There have been some factors over the last few years that have impacted our statistics, but we have seen consistent increase across the board in all reported crimes from 2021 to 2022. Our current 2023 statistics are on track to be in line with those from last year, which hopefully is the beginning of a trend lower in coming years. There are complexities to generating statistics, but the figures in this slide show the total number of reported cases for those respective categories from last year. Automated license plate readers are cameras with technology that recognize plate characteristics and have software that helps identify vehicle specifics, such as color, type, make, etc. They gather objective information about vehicles and can alert officers in the field to stolen vehicles and vehicles associated to active felony investigations or reported missing persons. This information further supports investigative efforts in identifying vehicles involved in criminal activity. The photo on the slide is what a real-time alert on an officer's in-car computer will look like. It shows the license plate in question, the photo of the vehicle taken, and provides the reason for the alert and the location of where the camera is that took the photo. This information supports officers in responding to the area to locate the vehicle and hopefully prevent any further criminal activity. An ALPR program will provide real-time alerts to officers in the field that will support immediate crime prevention. They can also serve as a visible deterrent to criminal activity, and they help officers and investigators solve reported crimes, often with minimal evidence to start with. I wanted to briefly explain the benefit of ALPR technology has provided to our investigators. The closure of these two cases ensured no further harm to our citizens, and both only started with residential surveillance footage provided to officers. These are only two of many cases we have solved with associated technology. The first case with the vehicle on the left, in July of this year, a subject entered a secured apartment building and forced their way into a victim's residence armed with a weapon. The subject made threats before leaving, and fortunately no one was injured. Our detectives prioritized this investigation considering the brazen and armed acts. Initial investigation only provided for a description of the subject and a nearby surveillance video showing the white truck leaving the area, which you can see in the top left photo. Using ALPR technology, investigators were able to search for the vehicle descriptors, ultimately locating the second photo on the bottom, which was taken by a flock ALPR in a neighboring jurisdiction a few minutes after the reported crime. With this photo, investigators were able to identify the vehicle and ultimately arrest the suspect within a few days. The second case was in September of last year. Daly City detectives investigated a home invasion where the victim was assaulted. The case, with a substantial financial loss, made the news as one of the suspects was dressed as a utility worker. The same suspects in this case were linked to 5 cases in Daly City and several others throughout the greater Bay Area. A vehicle was seen on surveillance video, and it was determined to have a stolen license plate on it at the time of the crimes, which is the vehicle on the bottom left photo. Investigators were able to scan photos of objective characteristics of the vehicle taken by the flock ALPR systems in surrounding jurisdictions. In doing so, investigators were able to identify the vehicle before the subject put a stolen license plate on it, allowing the detectives to identify who the suspect was. ALPR will not be used for traffic enforcement of general vehicle code laws. It will not be used for facial recognition or general surveillance, nor will it be used for administrative enforcement under the California Values Act. Nor will it be used for DMV registration enforcement. Our ALPR program includes the 8 ALPR systems currently affixed to vehicles and a trailer that we have in our fleet. This proposed program would increase our mobile solution and incorporate a fixed ALPR solution throughout the city. Mobile ALPR is available with our current Axon dash camera systems deployed in every patrol vehicle, and the fixed systems would be installed on city poles or a new pole with solar if necessary. This is the photo of the current mobile ALPR camera that all of our patrol vehicles currently have installed. The system is affixed to the patrol vehicle in the front windshield. It has ALPR capabilities. It just needs to be activated. The Axon Fleet 3 cameras are widely used by other cities in the Bay Area and are the best solution for Daly City. The fixed ALPR camera by Flock is the recommendation from the police department. These cameras are affixed to a pole or stationary object and can be either hardwired or use solar in areas where power is not accessible or convenient. Flock's ALPR solutions are widely used in other jurisdictions as well as public and private entities throughout the Bay Area and in Daly City. Flock's proprietary software algorithms improve the recognition of license plates and vehicle descriptors when paired with Flock's proprietary and advanced various ALPR cameras, and directly integrate with the Axon Fleet ALPR solution previously mentioned, further supporting investigations. Flock was recently awarded a competitive bid for a similar-sized agency in San Mateo County due to their low and competitive prices. Daly City has extended the same prices on the majority of the cameras, qualifying this as a piggyback purchase under our municipal code. A small subset of cameras is requested to be purchased as a sole source due to the proprietary software and hardware and to ensure compatibility with the rest of the solution. ALPR placement. Fixed ALPRs will be strategically placed based on current and relative crime patterns affecting the city and in areas of high density, such as major shopping centers and major thoroughfares. We will also prioritize locations of ingress and egress to the city, understanding criminal activity often comes from outside of our city limits, noting 69% of our arrests last year were non-residents of Daly City. The intention behind the placement of the ALPR units are to alert officers of vehicles associated with criminal activity, improving our awareness and response to further ensure the safety of the community. The map in this slide depicts areas within the city where cameras will be placed, and they follow the criteria just mentioned. Our department policy will prohibit the use or sharing of data for administrative enforcement, the sharing of data outside of California without a lawful order, or the sale of data. We will ensure random audits on system access and data inquiries, in addition to those already conducted by NCRIC or the Northern California Regional Intelligence Center. All access to the LPR systems require unique logins and must be supported by a need to know and right to know standard consistent with other state and federal law enforcement systems, which prohibits personal inquiry. Every inquiry will require a reason for access to include a case or an incident number to ensure its use for criminal investigations only. Privacy is paramount for our citizens, and we will take steps to ensure we protect that. The ALPR data is stored in vendor-specific, law enforcement compliant databases and follows strict retention and purge schedules. Like our current ALPR data, it is uploaded into the Northern California Regional Intelligence Center database where it is retained for the standard of 1 year. NCRIC allows for strict access requirements and conducts formal audits into access and data retrieval. It is important to note these devices and the database only collect vehicle license plate numbers and physical vehicle descriptors. There is no tracking of the DMV information on the vehicle nor of the registered owner. Additional investigative steps must be taken through other established law enforcement databases for DMV information, as well as to verify any information obtained through a real-time ALPR alert. Additionally, Daly City will activate Flock's ALPR Transparency Portal, which will show usage metrics and our associated policy. Activating Axon's Fleet 3 dash camera ALPR solution in our existing Axon body-worn camera and patrol vehicle camera contract costs $18,290 per year for our current fleet of patrol vehicles. Initial funding was approved for the expansion of our department's Axon program through Measure Q funds in the fiscal year 23-24 budget. The department requests funding for the additional 2 years of the Axon Fleet ALPR in the amount of $36,580 be covered by Measure Q funds. The first year of the 3-year Flock contract includes the initial lease and installation costs of the estimated 45 Flock cameras in our city and is estimated to cost $150,000. Funding for the first year of the contract was previously appropriated in the fiscal year 23-24 budget Measure Q funds. After the first year, the annual contract amount is estimated to cost $135,000 per year for the remaining 2 years of the contract. Funding for the remaining 2 years, estimated in the amount of $270,000, is requested to be supported through Measure Q funds. Additional funding in the amount of $476,500 was acquired through the BSCC Organized Retail Theft Grant to support and fully fund the cost of an additional 42 Flock cameras, which includes 2 cameras to be mounted on a trailer for the next 3 years, which was accepted by Council on September 25th of this year. That concludes the presentation. Staff's available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just one.
Go ahead.
I just want to say to those out there and their community members, thank you for passing Measure Q. And this is one of the many reasons, even though, for our first responders and for your protection and for our acting chief, deputy chief, to be so proactive to getting grants. So to let you know that this is probably one of the most proactive departments that I've ever seen and really has a focus on us and the community for our safety. So I applaud everyone in the department and looking forward to every time you do a presentation, it's always for the community and Measure Q funds that the people voted to let you know this is what you voted for and it is being used in wise manner. So thank you so much. And thank you to our police officers for going out there and taking a risk, protecting us. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Any other
Mayor.
questions or comments? Go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you, Chief, for the presentation. Governor Newsom provided funding for retail theft, and I believe Daly City was a part of that. How much did Daly City get? Was it 2.5 million?
Yeah, the grant that we applied for was for 8 million, but that was amongst San Bruno, San Mateo, and Daly City, but we were the grant applicant. And as a result, with the portion that we have to pay for program management, research and all that, and the analysis of the grant, I think we get close to 3 million. Yeah, close to 3 million.
Yeah, I thought it was 2.8. Okay. Storage retention. You made mention 1 year. I guess first in, first out. FIFO. What if the camera obtained footage based on the commission of a crime, say a serious crime? I don't know. There's so many burglary, rape. Can that be lifted, the retention period, if it goes to court and it becomes evidentiary? So does that mean you've got to hit these folks up and say, hey, we're going to need that footage because we understand the destruction period is 1 year? What happens in the commission of a crime?
Yeah, if it's specific to an investigation and a criminal complaint and something that is going to be prosecuted, that information is extracted and made part of the case itself. So it's, while the data may be discarded from the storage system, we'll retain it as part of evidence, best evidence in our system, in our reporting system.
Gotcha. What impressed me, and I think the public needs to know, gone are the days where you can access a system, CLETS, NICRIC, my old days it was cable, the right to know and the need to know. I think I've made mention of this before. At the time of O.J. Simpson, everybody in law enforcement was running the plate. Well, did they have a right? No. Did they have a need to know? No. But if you are involved in an actual investigation pertaining to this particular incident, you do have the right to know and a need to know. But in conducting your investigation, the system has additional safeguards, as you made mention, that in order to access the system, you have to log on. And some of the requirements for log on is you have to put in a reason why you need this information. I think you also made mention that you also have to put in a case number. So basically, it's a validation process to which not just any police officer, even though you have the system available, you also have to meet that criteria to access the system. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you don't mind, if I could read from the NICRIC policy itself, it kind of highlights in probably better words than I could come up with off the top of my head about need to know and right to know. The need to know is the standard is established when requested information is pertinent and necessary to the requesting agency in initiating, furthering, or completing the performance of a law enforcement activity. And a right to know is the standard is established when the requester is acting in an official capacity and has statutory authority to obtain the information being sought. It's kind of a complicated way in saying exactly what you said, but yes.
Okay. Is ALPR going to be used in the cases of a 10851?
Yes. So every vehicle that we take as a stolen vehicle gets entered in by law to the stolen vehicle system. That stolen vehicle system is part of the hit alerts built into these ALPR systems. So the cars, if we have victims in Daly City that have their car stolen, their car's automatically entered into the stolen vehicle system, which is a California state database. And then from there, it'll trigger alerts through the ALPR. So anybody driving that vehicle, kind of anywhere in the Bay Area at this point, has the potential to be triggered on some of those systems. And vice versa, should a victim in our city and or victim from another city have their vehicle stolen, by having cameras in our own jurisdiction now, we'll be alerted to those and have a better opportunity to recover the vehicles in a quicker manner.
You made mention about a person driving the stolen vehicle. Will it also trigger if the vehicle, what if the vehicle is unattended? So that aids in the recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the times vehicles are left abandoned, parked on the side of the road, used for transportation or joyriding. And so especially the ones in our in-car systems through our current dash cameras will pick up, for the most part, parked vehicles, as long as you're driving along, they're not backed up with their plates being covered, but it'll trigger along those vehicles as well to aid in recovery.
Will your police officers utilize the ALPR system to check on plates such as violations of 4000A or 4454A of the California Vehicle Code?
No, the system is not set to run through the DMV database, so it's a complete standalone system. It only triggers on alerts associated to stolen vehicle system, missing person system, and anything entered into the stolen vehicle system as a felony vehicle. So if we're doing a felony investigation, or any agency for that matter in the state of California, and they have a vehicle that they can tie specifically to the investigation that's involved in a legitimate felony crime, they can enter that as a felony vehicle. So those are the only hits that will pop up in the system, to include Amber Alerts and things of that nature. So it's not at all tied into the DMV system at all.
Okay, well, the reason I brought that up is the public needs to know that steps are being taken to ensure privacy. We don't want any abuse of the system. The sections I just made mention is expired tabs or not having tabs at all, and that's not going into the system. And so, all right, well, I have no further questions. Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that I know this is the second hearing for ALPR, and so all my questions have been answered in the previous meeting, but I will say that your updated presentation today also elaborates on some of the items that we did, I think we're inquiring about. And so I do want to say thank you for all your diligent work on this, as well as all the officers that keep us safe. I see you have both your full team today, on the right and left. I see you both. But it's important for us to have these tools. And you've answered the questions as far as making sure that also just it's utilized, to the best of ability, not necessarily invading into the privacy of our, the privacy of our residents, but really for the safety piece of it. So I'm in full support of this.
Absolutely, thank you.
Mayor, at this time, I'm going to open the hearing on this matter. Do we have any speaker cards? No. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, let me get a motion to adopt the resolution by roll call.
Motion to adopt resolution.
Second.
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Aye. Thank you, Deputy
Thank you, I
Chief.
appreciate it.
All right, let's go on to item number 16, which is the award to construction contract for the Fire Station 91 roof project. Director Chu.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm going to turn this over to Jeff Fernuzzi, who will do the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor,
Evening.
Vice Mayor, members of the council. The item before you is award a construction contract for the Fire Station 91 roofing project. Staff recommends City Council award a construction contract to Garland DBS in the amount of $182,853. That cost includes the base bid and the alternate one for Fire Station 91 roof project, and authorize the city manager or his designee to execute all necessary contracts to complete the project. The city's adoption of the 2022 comprehensive annual capital budget included an appropriation of $390,000 for the Fire Station 91 roof project and the replacement of the apparatus bay windows. At that time, the scope of the project included a full replacement of the entire roofing system. However, an inspection of the roof found that spot repairs can be made at a few locations, and a fluid-applied roof membrane system can be applied over the entire roof. The city has completed several projects using the fluid-applied membrane system and have found it to be resilient and cost-effective. The fluid applied roof membrane system has a manufacturer's guaranteed of 15 years and an estimated lifespan of 20 to 25 years. The California Government Code authorizes public agencies to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements like those established by Omnia Partners, while still adhering to the city's municipal code and adopted rules and procedures for the procurement of goods and services. By utilizing a cooperative purchasing program, the city can streamline the process of procuring goods and services. Contracts available through Omnia Partners are competitively solicited and publicly awarded. Using a competitive solicitation process consistent with applicable procurement laws and regulations, Daly City Public Works staff have reviewed the specifications and bid documents provided by Garland DBS, a member of Omnia, to ensure that they are compatible with the city's scope of service and procurement policies. Sufficient funding is available in the Fire Station 91 roof replacement budget, account number 31313,923, to cover the cost of the project and any potential change orders needed to complete the work. In summary, staff recommends City Council award the construction contract to Garland DBS of Cleveland, Ohio in the amount of $182,853. Includes base bid and alternate one for the Fire Station 91 roof project, and authorize the city manager or his designee to execute all necessary contracts to complete the project. Staff is available to provide any additional information or desired by Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Aye, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, our final resolution is item number 17, which is to adopt the resolution for a sister city relationship with Izu Misani City of Osaka, Prefecture, Japan. Ms. Ramos.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Before you tonight is a request to adopt a resolution for a sister city agreement between the cities of Daly City, California, and Izumi Sano City of Osaka Prefecture, Japan, to create a formal sister city relationship. Similar to the city of Daly City, Izumi Sano City has a population of approximately 100,000 residents. It's situated among the sea and mountains and is close to an international airport. Known as a gateway city that connects Japan with the rest of the world, Izumi Sano City welcomes visitors near and far. Izumi Sano City has many notable features, such as fresh seafood, historical sites, and their senchu towels. The city is also home to the only hot spring village in the Osaka Prefecture. In February 2023, delegates from the Izumi Sano City were participating in a Japanese local government initiative in San Francisco's Japantown. During this time, the Japanese consulate in San Francisco reached out to Daly City based on a request received by Izumi Sano's mayor, Hiroyasu Chiyomatsu, to schedule a visit to Daly City. The delegation relayed that Mayor Chiyomatsu was interested in exploring a sister city relationship with Daly City because he was a former resident of Daly City when he attended graduate school at Lincoln University in Oakland in the late 1990s, and now wants his citizens to be able to enjoy a similar cultural exchange and friendship that he once did. Following this visit, Mayor Chiyomatsu sent a letter to Mayor Buenaventura formally requesting consideration of a sister city relationship. The purpose of establishing a sister city agreement between Daly City and Izumi Sano City is to promote joint development and common prosperity and develop deeper understanding between the two cities through active exchanges in a variety of areas, such as culture, education, arts, and economics. This past October, Daly City hosted a delegation from Izumi Sano City and representatives from the San Francisco Japanese consulate. The delegation shared highlights from the exchanges they share with their 10 other sister cities. If the city agreement is approved by the City Council tonight, Daly City would become Izumi Sano's first sister city relationship in the United States. Based on the exchanges Izumi Sano City has had with its other sister cities, the delegation suggested opportunities for cultural exchanges that could enrich our cities, such as international art galleries, educational exchange programs, economic conferences, and athletic opportunities. Since Mayor Chiyomatsu could not be in attendance this evening, nor could representatives from the Japanese consulate in San Francisco due to the APEC Global Conference, he provided a statement to be shared. Dear Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members, on behalf of Izumi Sano City, we wish citizens of Daly City all well. Thank you so much for the warm welcome to the delegation of Izumi Sano City last October. We request Daly City Council to consider a sister city relationship between Daly City and Izumi Sano City. We believe that by establishing a sister city relationship, we could reciprocally prosper and develop through mutual cooperation in various fields. We would appreciate it if Daly City Council approved this proposal. The attached sister city agreement is the first step in establishing a formal sister city relationship and at a high level outlines the areas in which both cities would collaborate. Adopting the resolution will create a formal sister city relationship between the cities of Daly City, California and Izumi Sano City, Japan. Staff is available to provide any additional information desired by the council, and informational packets have also been provided by the delegation and is on the dais.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos. I want to thank you personally for all the hard work that you've done on this case. It really, as you said, it started with a letter from the mayor asking if we would consider a sister city relationship. And I just basically gave you the letter and you ran with it and you did the coordination. Got the delegation together, and I think you began the process of forging that relationship. And I think we are a better city if we have more sister cities. We have the space on that sign out there, so I would make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah,
Go
just
ahead.
one quick one, or a short one. I just want to say thank you for the work, because this is the first time I've seen the packet. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But, and it's great that we're going to have another sister city. And the story behind it is really like, I guess, because it's very personal, because the gentleman sent a letter here. And so I do support the sister city, but I wanted to say that it would have been nice if the rest of the council, like, I had no idea that those people were here. It would have been nice to meet them as well, even as a short introduction. You know, even though if you guys had a planned dinner, that's fine. But I would love to have as a council member, to have the opportunity to meet any of them that were here visiting, even the consul general, and was not afforded. And can someone put that for the record? And that, because that's kind of like, it's very personal when we do sister cities to me, and that relationship is cultural. And that cultural connection is something you just don't get in reading the paper. It would have been nice to meet them, because that connectivity to the Japanese culture is so important, especially in the Bay Area and where we visit Japantown or where we go to Japan. But that, to me, that I didn't have the opportunity, and I know it sounds like spilled milk, but it's not, because as a council member, it would have been something that I would have liked forward to meet any of them, even if it was in a smaller venue for that. But of course, I support us having other sister cities, and I appreciate the fact that this gentleman has a personal connection to Daly City, which is a beautiful story. So in the future, I would like to have known that this even happened on October 3rd in advance. But other than that, it's a great thing to open up for other cities, for other countries, other cultures.
And should the council approve this item, they will be making a visit out next year to do a sister signing agreement, a mile marker ceremony, so there will be opportunities to meet the delegation.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad after the approval for me, but that's okay. Okay, got it.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion on the table. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni?
Aye.
Dr. Rod?
Aye.
Ms. Manalo?
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester?
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura?
Aye. All right, thank you, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you.
Let's go on to appointments, board, commission, membership, committee appointments. Any appointments today? Hearing none, let's go on to item number 18, which is council committee reports. Any council committee reports? Hearing none. How about city council reports? City council reports, go ahead, Madam Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to report that I was able to join many community members as well as others that with the Alice 20th Anniversary Gala. I know that it is such an integral organization that really fights to ensure that domestic violence is prevented. At that event, Attorney General Rob Bonta was the keynote speaker, sharing his advocacy to ensure that those who have history with domestic violence and offenders don't have access to guns. It was a room filled with so many and brought Lizelle Chan there to also meet Claire Tampoco's mother. I know that that's something where two mothers, unfortunately, share the same experience. And so, but with hope around education, collaboration, and continued, I think, access to resources is so important because preventing domestic violence and intimate violence is so important. And we know that violence in any form is also unacceptable. Also wanted to share that Filipino American History Month celebration at City Hall of San Francisco with the Filipino Arts Exposition because it was the 125th celebration of Philippine independence, also the 30th year of Pistahan, also the 30th year of Fascine, and also wonderful, excellent cultural performances from Parangal. Also wanted to share that along with our, now that they're separate, right? Our library services, I just wanted to share that I was afforded the opportunity to read at story time for Filipino American History Month with Kababayan kids at our John Daly Library branch. It was really wonderful to meet with community and be able to share story time. I also joined Council Member Das Magbuwal in the book launch of the Sage Encyclopedia of Filipinx American Studies at Skyline College, which I'm sure he will be able to share more about with all of you this evening. I also wanted to say excellent job to Leilani for Make a Difference Day. So I was able to stop by here at City Hall. I myself I would say, a stack of 2 bags of things I needed to shred. And so I drove through the line and it was seamless. I mean, in the past, there would be long lines. If you had to drop off your mattress, your, large, if you have any, I would say, used tires or whatnot. I mean, it was really, really well done. I also saw Recreation Director Denise there helping out. I think that you all have figured out a way where there's less traffic, more expeditious way to make a difference by recycling many things that shouldn't be on the streets, such as mattresses, tires, etc. But I just want to say well job. And then also was able to join the Bayshore Block Party. I think it was definitely outstanding year after year. So many parents, teachers, children's activities, and really just a community effort I saw also our police and fire there. And it was just amazing to see how every single year this Bayshore Block Party grows and grows. And then also was able to support the Alvarado Project to honor the veterans during World War II and the anniversary of Leyte landing at the Philippine consulate. It was to honor those before us, especially the Filipino World War II veterans who fought valiantly for our freedoms. Also wanted to share that was able to join the Philippine International Aid with who was also present there was Commissioner Elizabeth Espinda and Commissioner Nancy Rodriguez. For those of you, Filipino International Aid was established in 1986 to provide assistance to disadvantaged Filipino youth in the Philippines. Also wanted to share that was able to join and be a judge here at City Hall. I think it's the first time there was an in-person Halloween contest. When you talk about camaraderie and building a family here in the city of Daly City, it's these types of events that bring the employees together. I saw many characters there, and it was just really well done. And I know for for also just the employees here to be able to do something like that in person. Many times it was just through photographs and digitally. And so congratulations to those who won. Also was able to join the chamber at Saramonte for their Halloween contest. It was really delightful to see all the creativity, the amazing smiles of the youth from babies all the way to high schoolers just in their Halloween contest. And I was able to judge that as well. And then also joined Skyline College with their President's Council with many community members, such as Supervisor David Canepa, San Mateo Labor Secretary Treasurer Julie Lind, and Bart from San Mateo Building Trades, really to support Skyline College. I mean, it is so essential to support a community college like Skyline because whether you are going from high school to Skyline, whether you are taking classes because you need it for your entrance for your master's program, whether you are I think it's just essential organization and just continuously partnering with such an institution is important. And I know that many of our residents also really go to Skyline College. And I want to say that on my role on CCAG, continuously pushing to ensure that we have the Skyline shuttle coming from Daly City BART, knowing that our students and accessibility is so important. So that will be continuing and ensuring that there is that access from Daly City all the way to Skyline. Also wanted to share that there was an amazing turnout for the Turkey Bowling Tournament with the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce. Who was present was Supervisor Canepa, Councilmember Dasmagwal, council members from the city of Colma, council members Ken and Helen. It was really well attended with so many representatives. I want to say to Team City of Daly City, for those that bowled from wastewater, as well as some representatives from DCPD, Leilani and our city attorney, Rose Zimmerman. For those of you who don't know, I think Rose is an amazing bowler and she's just hiding that from us. Also, we had representatives from Congress Representative Mullins' team who also had a lane. It was just a robust event. I think what is so beautiful to see is that our community really, really crave, I think, being together and supporting one another. So there were so many businesses, and the lanes were full packed. Also, within that evening, joined the API Alliance for their Diwali celebration. And I know for those that practice Diwali, it was on Sunday. So happy Diwali to all of you that practice. I just wanted to also share that I joined to celebrate the life of Tim Figueres, who touched so many youth as a coach, mentor, and friend. Something that I know, many youth that grew up in South of Market in San Francisco. Many of them moved to Daly City, but we do know that when you have people that care for you as a young person, whether you're a coach, youth development is so huge. And so just continuing to remember Tim for all he's done and given to the youth and young people. I also just want to mention I look forward to a meeting that we will be having in regards to our seniors and older adults, continuously ensuring that we get feedback from our seniors. We'll have more details on that. I know that this upcoming, I think tomorrow, or actually on the 15th, the Daly City Age Friendly Task Force will be meeting for their quarterly meeting, and really proud to serve on that task force. But we do want to hear directly from our older adults and seniors, and there'll be more to come. Thank you,
All right.
Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Any other reports?
You go ahead, Rod.
I do. I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just want to piggyback of Vice Mayor Justin Manalo's report in terms of the Philippine-X Encyclopedia that was held at Skyline College on October 28th. The largest Filipino-American resource publication. And we, out of 350 authors that contributed, about 60 was there, along with myself and a lot of my friends. It was actually really, really just eye-opening just to see that many folks that teach Filipino American studies from as far as Sacramento State to as far as Fresno, all in one area. It's pretty unprecedented when you see the amount of how Filipino American studies has grown over the past 50 years, and to see folks that were intergenerational. Like we had folks that were like Chris Bautista, who wrote this song on behalf of Filipino farm worker laborer Philip Veracruz. He sang this song called Prophets Enslave the World. And it was like an anthem for Filipino American student activists from the 70s and 80s that was able to sing that in front of all the participants. Also, we had performances from Larry Itliong, the musical, who was also a Filipino farm worker, labor and activist and organizer. And also, I just want to give a big shout out to the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce for putting together a successful turkey bowl, which we all had a great time, and I need to learn how to bowl.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rod. Go ahead, Ms. DiGiovanni.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the sake of brevity, I just want to highlight a couple of things. One was the Passion to Profit by our Renaissance nonprofit that partnered with our city, and that Ms. Manio from our ECD and Ms. Mothershead, who's sitting out here in our audience. It was great to see. It was a great turnout. I thought it was a great turnout. The panel was great with all the small businesses. It was great. They shared their personal stories, and they're now clients of the how to grow their business, why they chose their business. And I saw our small business commissioner, Charles Hill, there as well. and the great vendors that were there supporting it, Job Train, and so many more people that I look forward to another one as we move forward. So, and Amanda from Renaissance and the CEO, they continue to serve us, and we are so blessed to have them. The main one is obviously our Veterans Day. We had a well turned out, thank you, City Manager Leilani, I know Angie, our Daly said police officers, which included veterans. It was very humbling. Our wastewater included veterans. All the staff members, Mr. Chu was there, Mr. Fernese, everyone turned out. And I thought that it was a great idea to have it not exactly on the day so everybody could participate and come because they had family. And I would like to highlight that the U.S. Marine Corps included the father-in-law, respectfully, of Mr. Piccolotti. So it was great to see the veterans, and it was about them. It was really about them when we did the honor guard, and for everyone that was there. It was pretty moving because I think we all have someone in our family, either past or present, that has served our country, and some continue to serve, as we know, in our police officers. And the video from our police officer, I want to please let them know, is very touching to see them in their military uniforms. That, to me, a lot of people commented to me that that was beautiful video, or whoever produced that in our PD. It was beautiful. Because we need to realize that our freedom is not free. People paid the ultimate sacrifice, and that it continues today, whether it's on our home ground or those we don't see because of what is going on in the world, in every country and everywhere, that we need to honor and remember every single day. Yes, Veterans Day is important. So on Veterans Day itself, I spent with the San Bruno at the cemetery, afterwards with several of our Daly City residents who are United States Air Force, Grace David, and we all went in different places where they could eat. They ate for free because they had it was fun watching them go from place to place because they're honored as veterans. And so it was great to be with them, thank them for their service, and to listen to their stories about Vietnam, a Korean War, listening to a 99-year-old World War II veteran. It was just completely moving. So for those without sacrifice, I wouldn't be here. Many of us know that we would not sacrifice. I would also like to highlight there's many more, the CORA, the domestic violence, which included Alice, with Sheree Moreno, Mayor Flora Nicholas is co-president, along with Mayor Joanne Del Rosario. They are the co-presidents for this. It included a lot of mental health. It was very moving. Yes, there were people there that had personal stories. Some talked about it and some didn't. We did have our Make a Difference Day, and I know, Leilani, you really headed that. I know you're an unsung hero, but you did. And I want to thank you on behalf of the group that you called, because I ended up knowing a lot of them they were Masons. Inside that group, is it a fraternity, sorority? Yeah, so the elder wanted me to tell you very much so, thank you, and that to give you a lot of credit, and that they're willing to that. And I want to recognize our Lions and our Masons here who continually to clean up at that top of the hill, and looking forward to hopefully having conversations with our mayor and our city manager so they can secure the place, so they can continue to serve us with our medical needs and the needs of our community, because they are ready to go. And Dr. June, as you know, he is the main person to license anything medical. He is the main person in this county. He's been designated. And Dr. June Valera, I can't say enough respect for you. He's also serving at the Samaritan House. And I thank you for all your service. And sadly, I didn't know anything that we had a Halloween event here with the employees. So I don't know what happened. I looked in my email, I looked in my text. I was not notified, and it's very sad that I would have loved to participated as a judge or just been here to see the employees. So to all the staff the heads of department, and to all of you. I would have been here if I had known. Believe me. I would have loved to have been here and just seen the costumes, the fun, and whatever occurred. But I had no idea, for the record, that I had no idea about the Halloween for the city. So that saddens me that I was not notified of that. But the Bayshore Block Party was a very success. It's the 4th year. They continue to grow. The children, Teresa Fa'apua, Rick, all the school board members, superintendent, JUHSD, police, fire, you name it, everyone was there. So I'll close with that and to thank and remember Happy Diwali Day is something we should think about celebrating in our community because it is about light. And we all want to give light because that's what we're given from our spiritual side. So I think that we should consider that in some form. Maybe for next year, I'm sure that Miss Denise has a lot on her plate, and I want to thank you. I saw you also helping with the Veterans Day. So, and all your staff, the volunteers, the Jefferson High School band was there, and they were fantastic. And as a matter of fact, they're connecting with the Masons about the Masons supporting them for their band and helping. So that's how the community connects. And thank you, Acting Chief. I saw you at the Bay Shore with your family and everywhere. So thank you all for your service and humble to even be alive to be anywhere. And thank you, Director Cosgrove. Didn't forget you. I saw you everywhere. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. And the veterans. So I know you humbly do that as well. And thank you to the city manager. I would say that veterans event was pretty moving. I thought it was pretty moving myself. And Angie, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. So thank you, Mayor.
All right, any other? Go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know, I completely missed this, but I wanted to give my report on the meeting I attended as a representative for Daly City on the San Mateo County Mosquito District. I want to make mention that October typically marks the end of West Nile virus. As of November 1st, 2023, there has been one human case of West Nile virus in San Mateo County and one West Nile virus detection in an asymptomatic blood donor. So when they gave us additional information, San Mateo County is kind of big. So the question was asked, and I got the following. It was near the border, near San Francisco. Now, you notice I said San Francisco, but San Francisco is not part of San Mateo County, so it had to have been here in Daly City. Reasonable deduction. And the person had a history of travel. So it's very important that if you see any dead birds, you contact the San Mateo County Mosquito District and report it. They'll come pick up the bird and they will test it. Another issue that came up, and I'm sure you've heard the term Zoom bombing, and that's when somebody will come into your meeting on Zoom and they disrupt the meeting, either racially, sending epithets, and basically disrupting a meeting. The Mosquito District passed a new resolution addressing disruptive comments during public comment period. I have asked that we do the same, even though we don't utilize Zoom, but it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. And I think we need to move forward to create such a resolution so that at least we have it on the books, rather than waiting and being reactive. We need to be more proactive. So this thick packet, it's quite a lot of information, but I'm not going to go through it. But those were the two major highlights that was very apparent to me. And also the fact I had inquired, the district, out of their budget of $9 million a year, has allocated close to $2.5 million in Cal class investments, and we are doing pretty good. So that's just as FYI. Thank you. That's all the comments I have.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
Thank you. I think in addition, I do want to mention that it was an outstanding event that was happened at the Cow Palace in collaboration with Renaissance, as well as I think a lot of small businesses were able to participate. But I think what was really amazing at the Passion to Profit event was hearing firsthand from the small businesses that are in our community. I think that was extremely powerful. I know it's the first of its kind, and I mean, in regards to, and I know that the opportunity to be able to do it again is, and it looks like it will be annual. So I know you were there, Tatum, as well as Maybell leading the discussion, but I thought that having it also strategically in the Bay Shore so that businesses that may emerge in the Bay Shore or opportunities of ideas from residents in that area could avail of the resources such as Job Train, Renaissance. All of those are really important resources and just the opportunity for entrepreneurship. I think that's really amazing to see that type of collaboration. I know that it was also in collaboration with Cow Palace. I think I also wanted to mention that I know that there's something on the forefront. I know that Dr. Acevedo or Dr. June and Esther, you all are looking towards an opportunity to meet with Mayor Bonaventura and myself and the city manager to talk about the vision that you all have. I just want to let you know that that is under the works. We are just fine tuning a date. But I know that you all are very passionate to give back to our communities in regards to the longevity that you've given, whether it's health, whether it's looking at community engagement opportunities for the well-being of Daly City. So I just wanted to let you know that is on the forefront. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we are now at the part of adjourning in memory. Let me start with the Vice Mayor. Go ahead, you have two of them.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me just pull this up at this moment.
I'll go ahead and go since you
Okay.
were looking it up. We'd like to adjourn in memory of Richard Michael Sims. He's from Finance Utility Billing. I'd just like to read the obituary that was presented to me. It's actually quite, it's nice, and he was quite a man. Born June 2nd, 1968 in Daly City, Richard passed peacefully on November 5th, 2023, at the only home he ever knew, survived by his brother Steve, his dear nephews Stephen and Nicholas, and his newly born niece Ella Rose, preceded in death by his parents Mike and Shirley. Rick also leaves behind many cousins and many dear friends. Being the eldest son of retired streets supervisor Mike Sims and the nephew of retired police chief Richard Sims, serving the residents of Daly City was in Richard's blood. This Daly City native son was a graduate of Westmore High School and continued to live in the city that raised him. In 1987, Richard joined the Daly City Police Department as a police assistant. He spent the better part of the next 3.5 years driving his Go 4 vehicle throughout the city, educating the residents of Daly City on how to properly park their vehicles. In 1990, Richard was asked to join the Utility Billing Division of Finance as part of the meter reading team. Richard became a permanent full-time member of the Utility Billing Division in February 1983 where he worked until his retirement in August of 2021. A dedicated and loyal employee of the City of Daly City for 34 years, he walked every street in Daly City, and his smile was familiar to the countless community members he served. Richard was the type of person who would always run into someone he knew wherever he went. Richard's kindness and generosity was felt by many. His spirit can now be with the many loved ones he has been missing for so long. Richard's friendly smile and warm way with people will be dearly missed by his Daly City employee family. Please honor Richard's memory by showing kindness and generosity to someone in need. Private services will be held. And one more employee is Kevin McCartney, which is the brother-in-law of Richard Jacobs from ECD. Go ahead, Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to adjourn in memory for Christina Miranda de la Cruz. Christina Miranda de la Cruz was a mother of four to Janelle, Amara, Vera, and Christian. Grandmother of five, Rihanna, Ezekiel, Jaden, Nova, and Junie, and great-grandmother to Luke. She was a pillar of strength, love, and wisdom for her family. She lived a life filled with selflessness and devotion to her loved ones. Despite the challenges she faced, Christina Miranda de la Cruz remained steadfast in her commitment to her family, exemplifying the true essence of motherhood. She'll be remembered for her unconditional love, her warm smile that could light up a room, and her unwavering support for those she cared about. Her ability to throw down in the kitchen was legendary, and her homemade meals brought joy and comfort to everyone lucky enough to taste them. Christina Miranda de la Cruz's culinary creations were more than just food. They were a manifestation of her love and care for her family. Her legacy will live on through the cherished memories and values she imparted to her children and grandchildren. She'll be remembered for her dancing moves and her strong spirit, which inspired us all to live life to the fullest. And then also would like to adjourn in memory of Rodolfo Altez Palma. Rodolfo Altez Palma, also known as Benor Ben and Rudy to his close family, friends, and colleagues, was born and raised in Manila, Philippines. His parents were Enrique Palma, who served as a Filipino ambassador to the United States, and Pasita Altez. He was the fifth youngest of six siblings that included Hortensia, Enrique Jr., Amelia, Filomena, and Renato. Ben graduated from Mapu Institute of Technology with a degree in mechanical engineering in 1956. He immigrated to the United States in 1970 and first lived in Las Vegas. He met the love of his life, Lilia Conjares de Jesus, in 1971. They had their first child in 1972 named Oliver, eventually purchased a home in 1973 in Daly City, California, and lived there ever since. Ben and Lilia had their second child named Lorelei in 1980. Professionally, Ben worked as customs broker for import and export companies Bruce Duncan and Ted L. Roche. Ben was a longtime parishioner of Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church. During his golden years, he was very active at the Senior Center at Lincoln Park, where he participated in activities, as his wife Lilia was one of the leaders there. Later, he gained a son-in-law, Florio, as well as welcomed Mare Gloria and her son, Joe III to the family. For the past 13 years, Ben has enjoyed being a grandpa to Adarni and Vincent Javan. Some of Ben's hobbies included traveling to the Philippines and on cruises, watching Bay Area sports teams, reading, playing mahjong, sweeping in the front of the house, and taking care of his cars. Ben has always shown great physical and mental strength, endurance, and patience. He had an 8-year battle with a renal illness. Ben is an outstanding person, Christian, husband, father, sibling, son, grandfather, and friend. He was often a man of few words, but when he did speak, it was undeniably meaningful and profound.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Mr. Sylvester, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to adjourn in memory of Jerry Michelle Gandelman Hover. She was born in San Francisco, California, and she was definitely a trailblazing woman with a passion for justice, animals, and civic involvement. Jerry had a variety of riveting careers. She raised 5 loving children and volunteered with youth to ensure her everlasting impact on her community. She shared her passion for animals in San Mateo County, which led to her establishing the Redwood City Pet Parade for many years, which brought families and animal lovers together. Jerry spent several years as a Redwood City Parks and Recreation Commissioner and played an integral role in preserving the Solari Windmill located at the Union Cemetery in Redwood City. It still stands today. Jerry was endlessly bright and loved sharing the gift of education by volunteering her time through the Redwood City School District and the Hover Family Center. Jerry was a talented photographer and an avid sports fan who loved going to the 49ers and the Giants games with her family. Jerry is survived by her beloved husband, Gary Hover, her brother, Larry Gandelman, her children, Craig Steglitz, Brooke Leak, Sloan Joseph, Alexa Joseph, and Madison Alenza, as well as her adoring grandchildren, Charlie Leak, Hudson Leak, Leah Leak, Walker Elroy, and Harlow McElroy. Thank you.
Let's take a moment of silence and honor those who have passed. All right. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.